The 1130 Podcast and 1130 Entertainment presents Beyond 1130.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. We back at it. Welcome everyone to another episode of Beyond 1130, episode 3. We live, man. We live here on Facebook. We live here on YouTube and also on Instagram, you guys, man. So I appreciate all of it. Appreciate all the support, you guys, man. It's gonna be a great show. If you're new to the show, new to the podcast, haven't done so already, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, and share it, man. Do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. All right, now that's out the way. Like I said, it's episode 3 of Beyond 1130. Grown folks are talking, man. So we're gonna be diving into some grown folk talk, man, for real. You know, we're gonna be talking relationships, sex, parenting, current events, you name it, man. Last week's episode was hot, steamy, it was great. So shout out to everyone who tuned in and also on the season premiere 2 weeks ago. But we're gonna keep the ball rolling, man, and bringing back my guest here on Beyond 1130. First up, my guy, my commission bro. A lot of breath. My commission bro. He's the host of the Beeline Entertainment LLC. My guy, Brian B. What's going on with you, man?
What up? What up? Yo, it's good, Dre. Glad to be
Hey.
back on the grown folks. I'm so immature. Sometimes I feel like I don't know if I'm ready for this show because I
You don't know
gotta
if
get
you
my
ready,
grown.
man.
Gotta get grown on here.
Hey,
For real
I
though.
dig it. I dig it, man. Hey, like I said, you guys, it's beyond 1130. Got my guy Brian B as well is joining me on this episode, or joining us on this episode. My girl Holly is back. What's going on?
Hey,
What up,
hey,
Hoss?
how you doing?
Good. How's everything?
Things are going really well. I got a new sea turtle. His name is Marley.
Yeah, I saw you talking on Instagram with him.
Yes, that's my boy. It's my
Mm.
emotional support turtle. One of my other favorite crafters. She makes plushies, and I will never make them because I make clothes and hats. And when I saw him, I was like, I have to have him. Can I have him? And so I bought him, and I'm pretty sure she gonna get hella sales because every video that I do, he's somewhere in the corner just looking the cutest.
There you go.
Hey, that's what's
Sponsorship.
up. Yeah, awesome stuff. Once again, Holly, appreciate you joining me back here.
Always.
Joining us back here on Beyond 1130. No problem. Also, you guys, man, we got 2 new guests joining us here on Beyond 1130 this week. They are former guests that's on the 1130 podcast show. First and foremost, let me give it up for my guy George. George, what's going on with you?
Nothing much. Thank you for having me on. I hope everyone is blessed this evening.
There you go.
Hey, that's what's up. No problem, man. I appreciate you taking the invite, and coming on, man. So it's
Yeah,
gonna
not
be
a
fun.
problem. I had a real good time last time I was on, so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, hey, thank you. And also, man, I definitely got to have you on Wrestle Talk, man, so we can chat wrestling, man. So
One of my
Uh-oh.
side gigs, I'm producer for a wrestling promotion here run by Bobby Horn, who was known as Sir Mo in WWF, and we got a big
Oh,
benefit
wow.
for him coming up Saturday to help him with some
Mhm.
medical deals. So I want to get that out there and have everybody come out to Elks Lodge this Saturday night to support him and his efforts.
That's what's
Okay.
up. Yeah, definitely support that.
We can't hear you.
Dre, you muted, bro.
Oh, we can't hear you. At least I can't hear
I don't
you.
know. We
You
couldn't hear you, Dre. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw. I am Chanel Baptiste, your favorite no bullshit therapist in the house.
This
Yeah, what's going on,
hair.
Chanel?
My God.
Chanel, you got a very interesting hairdo going on.
I
Is
love
that typical?
You know, I try to be as black as I possibly can.
I love
And the butterflies just enhance all the good things and make people feel good. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
listen, I hear you.
Now
February
they have a
1st.
life of their own, you know.
That's
So.
right. That's what's up.
This is
That's
what I
what's up.
think Mother Nature looks like. You are just so beautiful. Oh
You know,
my
somebody else said that too. Somebody else says like Mother Nature.
Not yet,
Oh
Dre.
my God. Right. I'm just like, because the butterflies, they just come to you. You don't got to catch them. Oh, my
Right?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what's up.
that's what
Dre's having a little bit of technical difficulties, so I'm trying to help him out real quick. directing. Really glad to have all you guys on the show with us here tonight. It's been a lot of fun doing these conversations. You have some really good topics on these shows if you haven't seen them previously. Harley, we were on last week. How did you feel about, has any of the topics that we talked about last night, have they kind of changed your direction in any way? Like, just from having these casual conversations with different people?
You know what? I'm kind of stubborn, so I rarely change my direction, but I love having it in my mind.
Yeah.
I think we can hear you, Dre, because I heard the back of us.
All right, can you guys hear me?
There
we got you now. We got you now.
Yeah, I was having some mic issues. My bad.
Right. We took care of that for you, though. We got you.
The speaker actually connected to my earphone, so I was having some issues though. But once again, man, now Brian, man, you was having a great point though, from Harley. Being on last week's episode, the conversation we was having and stuff like that. I think it was real spicy though. What was you guys? How did you guys feel about that?
It was great, man. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Harley.
No, I had a good time. I rarely ever change my mind, but I like opening it, and I like being open to hearing other people and what they're doing, and then I find a way to apply it to the things that I've done, because I feel pretty secure about the way I feel and the way I see the world at this tender age of 32. So I'm in a space. I'm in a space where I'm kind of finding out how to accept what already exists in my head instead of trying to make it apart.
Got you. Yeah,
Awesome.
I feel that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it because I know me and Dre and Warren, Commission Talks and the wrestling and everything like that, plus the Beyond 1130, and then my shows. Like, every time I meet new people, one of the great things about this is talking with and connecting with people. You learn things differently. Even you learn to accept things differently. Then and I find myself a lot of times taking a lot of character from people and actually, like you said, kind of using it to my character and comparing, contrasting at times. And even being more open to things like Harley, like even what you were saying. There's a lot of times, like last week, if people caught on, like we're talking about a lot of dating, being able to be secure with your sexual relationship and different things like that. It's interesting to continuously like feel like you have the right answers for everything, but not really understanding that there is other people out there with different mentalities, man, that don't got to be the same.
Yeah.
And I'm opening up to that a little more from these conversations. Believe it or not, I mean, shit's working. Like therapy, whatever.
Yourself. I think as a person who lives a more liberal life, it's been really big for me to just stand on what I feel and let people know, like, I completely understand if my way of living is not for you. But I spent a lot of my life miserable because I couldn't accept my way of living. And so I have to be who I am. I can't be anything other than what I am, but I never want anybody to feel attacked by it or like overwhelmed by it. That's what I really love about this space, is I can freely talk about my lifestyle and none of you go,
right.
I was talking about
what? You like what? You do what with who?
Right.
And to actually catch, Chanel up in Georgia, who what the conversation was last week. The topic was, can you be happy without sex? Before we, dive into a couple of topics that we, got for tonight, I'm gonna start with, George, and then we're gonna go to Chanel though. Can you guys be happy? That was the topic from last week's episode. Can you guys be happy without sex?
If you're a man,
man,
you could.
Oh, good.
If you're a man, you can survive, but you won't be happy. I mean, you won't. There's something primal in us, and when we choose to neglect it or ignore it or not be receptive to it, it's going to affect us. It's going to affect you psychologically. That's a basic human need. This is the reality of it. When you get all said and done with it, more implications or more ambiguity, be damned. I mean, it's a basic human need.
But I think I see sex as not just the actual physical act of the thing. I feel like sex is up here. And so I truly believe that sex is a culmination of love and intimacy and all the things that happen around it and all that. And so that's the ultimate thing. I do think it's necessary, even if it's sex with yourself, right? Because I definitely believe in that, because we are sexual beings. It's such a, like George says, a primal part of who we are as beings, right? It doesn't just bring life, but it brings life. You know what I mean? And so, and so I do think it's necessary in the traditional having sex with a person or not. That's up to you, right? I've gone long, extended. I'm in a long distance relationship, so I don't physically have sex on a regular. But up here, and my phone time is great, right?
So
Because
now we got to talk.
that is deeper. Is deeper
Yes.
than the physical. Not that I don't need hugs and snuggles, and because all the physical touch, we need that too, because we need that to survive, right? And all that. But like in essence, it depends on how you look at sex. If you look at it as just the physical act of the thing, well, yeah, we might be able to live without that in itself. But I think the closeness, the intimacy, the connectedness is what sex is truly about. And that's a necessity for us to live, survive, and thrive.
Gotcha.
I dig that. Okay. From that question, we're gonna dive into sort of our first topic here tonight. I thought I'd cut all the videos out from this week. I ain't want to bore you guys though from the videos. But our first topic today, since we was just asking the question from last week's episode to George and Chanel though, role play or foreplay or not though. You guys are are you guys the type to get straight to the business, or do you guys like a little build up towards it though?
Bro, listen.
Depends.
I know.
Bro, listen.
It's like
I gotta be on.
I don't even know the question. Hey, Dre, that ain't even the question, bro. No foreplay. I mean, what the fuck you just going in there and just stripping and just going to work town? Like, nah. You gotta build it up a little bit.
We grown. I gotta prime the pump, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing though, we have sex like we eat. Sometimes we want to take our time and enjoy a meal. Sometimes we just want to dive on in because we
You
starved.
better.
Exactly. You better tell somebody.
Good point.
That's
a good point.
You know,
Your point last week, Brian. Sometimes the kids are in the other room, and the chicken nuggets is in the oven, and you got 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Thank you.
Let's run in this room real quick.
Yo, let me ask y'all on that topic real quick. What do you consider? Because there's a difference between role play and foreplay.
Foreplay. That's
What
right.
What do you consider foreplay? Let's ask that question.
Because like for me, foreplay is everything that leads up to, like I say, intimacy is everything in between sex.
Right.
It's the whole day.
When you wake up in the morning and be like, hey, baby, it's a tap on the ass as you pass by, right?
Right.
It's
Before I got on camera, I sent some nudes. That's foreplay.
Hey, come on, bro.
He's gonna come home in a couple of hours. So I know he's gonna come home in a couple of hours. I've been on camera with y'all. I've been drinking right before I got on. I was like, there we go. Because that's foreplay for me.
Exactly.
Well, and the thing that too about intimacy, intimacy is also how you wake up in the morning together. It's your conversations throughout the day. It's how's your day going. That's intimacy is all of that. So the sex just ends up being a culmination or representation of your relationship.
Right.
If you're in a relationship and you're not being intimate, somewhere else is right.
Right.
Something else ain't right.
And
so
I think
it may not be the right situation for you.
Right. And then when you're looking at role play in itself, like it's fun. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I ain't dressing up like no fucking dinosaur or no or Batman.
You ain't trying to be Mr. Officer though.
You think I am? It's like Halloween, motherfucker.
I'm big on role play because I'm a dancer, so I feel like being an adult. I'm a former dancer. I'll say that because I have to keep putting former in front of it. But I'm a former dancer, and so I love dressing up. I have a pole in my house. At any given moment, this man to come in the house, the LED lights are on, the fake money is sitting in the chair. He already knows.
I love it.
He know what to do. He know what shoes. I have a wall of shoes, so he'll go and pick out a pair of shoes he wants me to put on. And bam, I do it. Plus, I, as a woman, I love walking around in lingerie. So every time I wake up, I decided to wear something different and do something different. I also mentally found out at 19 that I have dissociative identity disorder. So I am more than one woman. I have multiple personality disorder. The way that I express myself and give my alters a place to live is sexually. So I will dress up as my different alters and allow.
I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. That's healthy.
Yes, to balance it out so they're not just popping out of my body in the middle of the day when I'm frustrated.
You're giving them a place to reside. So they ain't got to be busting out the seams and trying to get out there. It's like, This my
They
space.
know that they will live in a sexual space. They are comfortable with that. I think they get honored by me mentioning them. Like right now, I've never in my life publicly mentioned my DID. And so like saying that and being able to say like, I have multiple personalities, but I'm happy. I'm okay. I'm healthy.
Right.
I take my medicine the way I'm supposed to. It's beautiful. And they have a place to exist.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, and I have DID as well, so a lot of people don't know what it look like. So they may think it's you switching from person. It's not like that. So but if you can find a way to make anything work for you in a positive way, then you won, then you conquered it.
Right.
Yeah. Once I got my system together, I was cool. You know what I mean? Because they understood and we all got it together. But at first, I felt like I was losing my mind.
Right. Because you don't have to fight against it. And I think we're taught to fight against it. And because of the images that we see on TV of what it looks like and all that kind of stuff, like you said, that's not real, and like I say, I've been friends with George for a few years now, whatever. We have never had the DID ain't never got in the way of our friendship, ever. Not ever, right? Because I respect every part of this dude, right? And he respects every part of who I am and how I am. And I think when you have a respect for all of yourself, like you said, learning who I am and respecting who I am and deciding that y'all gonna deal with who I am. I don't mean no harm or nothing, but I'm gonna be me 24/7. And you have to learn to accept that, right?
And the thing is you can't worry about other people accepting that either. Because when you start to embark on recovering and things like that and really start to come into your own, other people gonna have a problem with it. They're not gonna like it. So just be prepared, just let people go and be ready to walk away, but you got to do it for your own self-being.
Baby, I done had family members tell me, just pray it away. Baby, I wish I could. I wish I could pray it away.
If it was that
easy. I want to say this, I mean, I hear you guys. I was one, as far as foreplay goes, like, for me, I never thought of it the way you guys are saying it, like, as far as like, taking it and considering it throughout the entire day. Like, I like the beginning part of when you about to, whenever you is slapping the ass. Okay, cool. Sexting throughout the day, shit like that or whatever, But if you ain't kissing for me, like I never understood that shit. I've had a couple girls that were like, "Hey, I'm not kissing or that I don't like to kiss." And I'm like, "Well, what the fuck you want to do? Because that's my shit." I'm like, we ain't kissing, we ain't fucking. Like I don't know what we doing.
Kissing, I think kissing is like the number one, I guess, of
intimate shit,
intimate stuff.
That's
intimate
shit, bro.
If you ain't kissing, then I think it's that's a little bit weird. But for me though, like I understand some guys like to get straight to it. Like man, come on, let's just get into it. And like how you guys were just saying, if you got kids, you got 15 minutes. Hell, you probably got 10 minutes to just go in the next room, go real fast, and just get it over with or something like that. But and another thing to George's point too, man, it starts at the beginning of the day. Words of affirmation, just like just smacking on the ass, just doing little stuff, sexting. Oh, I'm thinking about you or whatever like that. And then by the time you get in the bed, it's on. I'm telling you, it's on like popcorn.
I want to ask this. I want to ask this too, right to this point, because it's interesting that we're saying this, and we got two women in the room with us. When we say like, is foreplay an option? Now, from what I understand, through my time, through whatever, women, it takes a little bit more for women to get going. Not get going. Let me say this the right way. It takes more for women to get there sometimes. If you're going through shit and you ain't building your woman up, you ain't letting her get that mental connection, you ain't. So that quick little 15 minutes, a dude who's just like, listen, I don't like foreplay, fuck it. Every time we fuck, I'm going in and I'm going out and then I'm out that fucking door. If that's the mentality, how are you mostly? There might be times you're like, yeah, nigga, I'm ready for right now. Fuck it, I can go. Lights on, green, make it happen. But how are you mostly getting that physical connection with somebody if you have somebody with a mentality of like no foreplay and I don't fuck?
You getting it from somebody else.
Well, probably.
Okay, there you go. Yep, that makes sense.
Men like that are what made me realize that I like women, because I was dating a man like that and I liked him, but he just had no mental, like he couldn't have the emotions intimacy.
Right.
And so I ended up starting to like engage with women. And I was like, you know what? If I could get my intimacy from her and get Pound Town from him, then I was like, polyamory.
Right.
But the great thing is I have a partner who does that. But if I did not, even if I did not, I am a person, because I wear my lingerie and all of that, I start my foreplay with myself. So I'm going to take a nice shower. I'm going to have some music playing. I probably masturbate in that shower. I'm probably telling myself that first climax of the night all on my own. So I could just like set myself up, get ready, let the girls know, I don't know who's coming to play tonight, but I need you to be good. Just really talk to myself, talk to my system. I think my mental situation makes me have to like kind of have a board meeting right before I go in the bedroom. Right. I'm almost like loose and limber, you know what I mean? Because I feel it. And if you hear me from the other side of the house because I'm pretty loud, then you like, oh my God, she's doing something. Especially if it's like your first time. I've been told that sex with me is an experience. I was like, okay.
And it should be.
And the thing is, like, I have DID, PTSD, and bipolar. And with bipolar, you have the hypersexuality too. And that's been a real problem for me. But I've been going without for years at a time.
Right.
So it's been real interesting for me. But that's another thing too. You have to think of it is that we all have our individual quirks and tastes and things like that. It's a compatibility issue. But I found that, if you can spread the intimacy throughout the day, sometimes you can kind of come home and forego a little foreplay because you've been setting yourself up all day for it.
All day long. Right.
Yeah, all day long for it.
So now this is really personal, George, and you don't have to answer if this is too personal. Does the time that you go without sex and your hypersexuality increase masturbation, or does it just?
Oh, it definitely increases it.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I mean, hypersexuality.
I know bipolar disorder too, and I have the hypersexuality. And
right.
I've been sitting with my therapist, like, okay, I'm rubbing it off in between sessions. Like I feel like I'm about to lose it. She's like, just relax. It's not a problem. You might be just craving some connection, and all that, because when it's hype, it is. Hi.
Ryan and I talked last week about getting it off at work, so that's why I asked. Because I'm
driving everything.
I'm glad I work from home.
Me too.
But barring any physical issue or any other extenuating circumstances, if you ain't having sex in your relationship, you really don't have a relationship.
Yeah, it's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. But
I don't know if I agree with that one. I definitely think you can still have a relationship because we got to consider the people who physically just can't have sex.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about other than it. Yeah, other than that,
if
you're not doing it, if you got two reasonably healthy people and y'all ain't connected on that physical level, you don't have a relationship. Now, if you have an illness, that's one thing. If you have different circumstances, a sick child or something like that, I can see that.
Yeah.
But if you're reasonably healthy and you rocking for somebody and you ain't having sex, you need to leave this situation alone. Because I can tell you from some of my personal experiences, it just ain't. It's a dead end. It's over.
But you also have the issue of people who are asexual, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're asexual, then there's no desire there. So you have to. Again, you have to figure out that compatibility component. Do you need to be with another person that's asexual, or do you need to be in a poly relationship? Because if that's just not your sex is just not your jam, that's not how you connect. Then that ain't what you're gonna do, right? And so you have to have somebody has a respect for it.
Yeah, compatibility is definitely an important factor.
Man,
in all aspects.
You guys are stealing the words out of my mouth. Harley asked George a question. It was on the tip of my tongue, and Brian just said compatibility, and I think that is actual. That's facts, though. Period. That's fact. You got to be compatible with someone, man. And then I think being blunt, being honest up front, and letting them know, like, look at, like, are we gonna be fucking? Because if we ain't gonna be doing this fucking, then like, we could be friends. We could be this. We could be that. Like we all grown. Like that's why this grown folks talking.
That's
you gotta
first
be
conversation.
Transparent. You gotta be transparent in things that you want instead of just just getting in and just kind of like for the looks at the moment or just because you like him or her. But if it's for the long run, like I think sex is it's important. But to some people, different strokes, different folks.
I think for me, like one of the biggest things why I think I've changed over the years, like I went through a lot of transitions, man, just different lifestyles and different shit I've been through or whatever, just like probably most people. But I used to be, one of the ones. I don't give a fuck what happened. I always wanted girls around. I always wanted to be. I don't give a fuck. Whatever I'm doing, I just want girls around. I want to have the availability to just pick up, do something, whatever. But then as I started getting older, and I did a lot when I was younger and shit like that. I'm not old, but I'm older. I got kids, I got shit, I got life, I got fucking business, I got shit going on. So it's like I don't think about it as much as I did, but I still hear the conversations about how important sex is, and a lot of people glorify it to an extent of like making it like, hey, if you're not fucking every day, what are you doing? How can you love somebody? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, there's no way everybody's living that way. Like,
no,
you know what I'm
can't.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
you gotta be realistic. You feel me? Like, that's why I have the arguments, because I'm just like, I'm not just gonna listen to y'all pound my fucking head with the bullshit. Like, if it's realistic, be honest. Like, yeah, sex is important, no doubt. But don't tell me that you feel the same way when you was 20 than when you fucking 35.
No, and here's a flip side to it. Your change can also be inverse, because like me, when I was younger, my attitude towards sex, I was very reserved. I got a low body count, and I went a lot of years in 2 different relationships without sex. And like the way I am now today, I never do that to myself again.
Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense.
I ain't never doing that.
It's like the opposite and shit.
What's so funny to me is I always hear people talk about their life changing. Like maybe you were you wanted a lot and then you didn't want a lot, or you didn't have a lot and now you want a lot. I am always afraid of myself, y'all, because I've been on 10, and people always are like, have you, and I think it's because of the DID, right? Because there are, multiple libidos, existing inside of me, but like, I've always wanted it, and people are always like, did something happen to you? Like, I'm a Black woman. Of course I've been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
But in a way that created my hypersexuality, no. Like, when this showed up, I was in a perfectly fine mental space, and I was just like, I want to touch my private parts, and I want to keep touching them. That's a problem. So I'm like, it's been consistent for me. It's like, and that's one of my first conversations with anybody. It's like, hey, how often realistically can you have sex? And then if it's a man that I'm dating, do you have a problem with me dating women or engaging with women? That's the first conversation. Because if those conversations even get hesitant with me, we can be friends. I love friends. You can be my cousin a little bit, but I don't got time.
At least you honest.
You have to have, when it comes down to
be honest, because I'm a cheater.
Right. And you have to be honest and be transparent.
Okay. That was some pretty real shit right there.
I don't argue. I don't
be honest. I cheat, motherfucker. Deal with it.
I'm gonna give you a little time to give it, and then I'm gonna go get it from somewhere else, because you can believe I have a place to go get it.
Damn. Okay.
Would you say so? Okay, Harley, you just opened up like a whole other can of worms right there. So would you consider yourself, if you have that mentality? Just asking, honestly, what do you consider a serious relationship at that point then?
I consider a serious relationship well, the relationship that I'm in, right? I consider a serious relationship one where I feel like my needs are being met and I'm being heard, because I'm not a difficult woman. I want a lot of sex and a lot of verbal affirmation. If you can tell me that I'm pretty every day and fuck me at least 3 of those 7 days, we will have a perfect life and you will be great. You can ask this man.
I feel like that's not a lot to ask.
I'm like, he's been living the best life he can for the last 5 years. Every now and then you come in the house, there are beautiful women hanging around your house. I'm a dancer. I got other dancers always around me, other women that I have sex with around me. But you have to be okay with my lifestyle. I live a fast, hard lifestyle, and I have fun. I drink a lot. We do a lot of fun things. But if that's not what you want, that's okay. But I feel like a serious relationship is with someone who lives the same lifestyle as me. And my baby is literally boy me. Like, I love him.
Good. That's a good answer to that question.
Boy me, like evil twin. We be out here knocking them down together. It's the most great feeling in the world. I don't even have to have sex with women alone anymore, because he's right there.
Boom.
Good answer to the question. Yeah. If you guys match, it is what it is. Compatibility.
Yeah. I've dated a lot of men that like wanted monogamy. I've dated a lot of men that like wanted a traditional woman. And in their mind, I was being wild because I was waiting on the right man to come tame me. And so
I like to address that too, because we have this mentality that, you're supposed to be a certain way, right?
To be a wife. Like, no, I'm a wife.
It's a matter of the individual people. Right,
like I make lunches and I cut sandwiches in half and shit too. I just also dance in 9-inch heels. Like,
I mean,
it's a matter of
that's rubbing you wrong.
What you guys say, Brian?
I want to let George go first.
Okay, go ahead, George.
It's a matter about being transparent and honest about what it is you want sexually and relationship wise. And As long as you're honest and transparent, you can pretty much work through things because you have to have those discussions before you embark and screwing somebody.
Yep.
You have to decide, well, what does this mean? Well, are we in a relationship? Well,
Yes.
you need to have those discussions
Listen,
before
bro,
then.
let's fucking go.
Or at the very least, have an intent of where you want to go.
Yes.
Right.
You know, a lot of people just out here sleeping around with no intent of what they want to do. They just feel good for the moment, and they wonder about, and they don't think about the consequences later.
Yeah,
you know,
people hear me talk and they think that's what I'm doing. I'm like, actually, I'm probably more sexually selective than your most prudish friend. It's just I know who I am, and I know that if a situation arises for me, it will. I've had a lot of scattered out, really wild moments. I don't just be fucking different people every day, and I think people think that because I talk so freely. And I'm like, no, I'm just free about it, and I'm not going to be shy about it. I think there are a lot of women who try to find another reason to be attracted to a man other than to say, like, I really want to feel him inside of me, and that is the only attraction I got for him right now. But women,
and that's okay if that's what it is.
Yeah, like we will try to find something else to try to like make ourselves be more palatable or make ourselves be more acceptable, because you can't be a woman and like sex. And it's weird to me that men who have sex with women don't want women to like having sex.
I don't think that's the case at all, though. I mean, I don't think in any type of way that men don't want women to like sex. I don't think. But
as soon as women started talking about sex,
when we start having sex,
no. That's a difference. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's a difference. We're not saying that you have sex all the time, and it's the kind of person that you want. Like we just agreed on compatibility. If I want a traditional woman and we have sex, we like to have sex. You can like to have sex, but if you telling me, hey, I like having sex, I want to be a traditional woman, I want to raise my kids in the household, I want to do the best I can to resemble any kind of normalcy to try to successfully raise a family in the country we live in, whatever fucking matter you want to look at it as. But if you want to sit there and say, well, with that, I still have to fuck 15 other motherfuckers outside, now that's a different conversation from I like sex. I like a lot of sex.
I'm like, but I'm not even doing that because there are no kids in this house. We get our kid on the weekend.
See how many factors are involved, though? If there's no kids, there's a lot of shit. Yeah, there's a lot of factors.
But that woman that wants to have sex outside of that, then she's not a true traditional woman.
Right.
That's the conversation I'm saying to match what you guys were saying. It's not about men not liking the fact that women have sex. It's about the type of sex that you want to have. Just like Harley said, if you want to be out everywhere, that's fine. You got men who you'll be able to find and they'll want to deal with that. But if you have men who want a traditional woman and they like to fuck all the time, but they want to fuck just their woman, they're gonna have to find somebody compatible for that situation.
Right. My problem is, as a woman, I'm not doing the chasing. So there's a man who sees me living my lifestyle and he's traditional and he will come and try to be with me. And so that's what I'm telling you. I understand what you're saying and I don't disagree, but I'm not the chaser in this situation. A man will come in my life and be like, hey, you should be traditional. And I say, no, thank you. And then I'm being bashed and mistreated, but I'm being honest from the beginning.
That's different. That's an asshole.
Men, right, that's like men will
that's an asshole. You deal with those all the time.
Men will be out here and a woman will meet him and be like, I can change his mind. I tell my friends all the time, no, baby, he's out here.
You need to change your mind.
With him or go find you.
Just like women try to change men's mind when we say, hey, I want to do this and that. And no, I'll change him. He ain't gonna want. Okay, bitch. For Sean Rock or whatever you want to call him, motherfucker. You want to change everybody's mind, right? Yeah, but it's the same shit. It's the same shit.
What's so funny is those two people never find each other. They always find motherfuckers like me. Like, leave me alone. Go find that girl. There's a girl that wants you, and you out here chasing the dog, and you out here chasing me. Me and the dog can go get married, and y'all can go be together.
You're right. Hey, that's right. I definitely agree with that.
Hey, I love the conversation, man. This is really awesome, though. From everybody, perspective, though. Accountability, everything. You gotta play into a factor. With dealing with someone relationship wise, or even the sex part where I get what Brian's saying. Like if you gotta work all day and you got something to do, yes, you're not home, fucking all day or just thinking like. You just want to have sex. And, we all are different. We all are grown up, not 20. But, it's certain things, like I said, different strokes for different folks, man.
Yes.
Because it's, me, I got a big high sex drive. So, and it wasn't like this. I mean, I ain't gonna say it wasn't like this, but I didn't have, women. I didn't have, I said this a couple of weeks ago, a roster. I ain't have no roster. I probably had like one woman or one or two women at the time, just talking to me. And so it just I don't it just felt like damn, I don't know if I was attractive or not, but I was just like, damn, I got a high sex drive and things just, go that way. And some people, have it and some people don't.
Yeah.
And I know as got kids now, we can't be, fucking all over the place now, like we
Right.
were before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kids. So
There's a difference. It's changed,
yeah,
bro.
It's
yeah,
different.
yeah,
Every,
it's definitely it's
my
Yeah,
definitely a
clients
difference
spend a lot of
when the
days
kids,
after I had kids.
yeah, man.
yeah,
Having
when
kids
the
is
kids,
crazy.
yeah, having kids definitely is crazy, and when the kids are around, you gotta definitely hold off and wait, I guess, till they fall asleep though. But
Dre, I want to
um,
say this too, real quick before we
well,
jump off, because you said with the
mhm,
kids. Another thing, how many does everybody have kids in here?
Yeah.
I know Harley
good
doesn't. And
question.
okay, so we got. I mean, I think another big thing that happens, and I'm not saying that like whenever I have these conversations, I'm always just trying to like make sure I'm just being honest with myself.
Yeah.
I'm just this is
Please.
just me speaking. I just how I fucking feel. But I'm pretty sure that there's people who can relate. That's how I look at life. Like there's gotta be somebody out there who thinks the way I fucking think a little bit. But it's like when people have kids, a part of that mental is something I think a lot of people don't consider who don't have kids. Like the mental mental
The
shit that you
weight
have to
of you
think
being
about with
a person.
kids.
Yeah.
Like that comes away for you. That's a draining fucking damn, I can't
Mm-hmm.
think. I'm sick, man.
It's
That's a
like it's
draining
a heaviness
situation,
on you. It's like a
Yeah.
weight on you because you're responsible for a whole nother person's life and
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
well-being.
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
watch it because my partner is a parent, and I watch the weight on him. And I think as a person without children, one of the gifts that I have is like being able to connect with people who have them and being able to like give them a place to release and like feel comfortable to just say like, "What the fuck?" Because like I'm
Right.
responsible for another person's whole
Yeah.
existence. And I
Right.
never take that lightly when I'm having these conversations. I never take it lightly. First thing that come out of my mouth. But hey, I don't have kids. Like I make
Right.
sure that I
Mhm.
lay the foundation to let you know, like I understand that our dynamic is different because
Mhm.
you have a whole nother person to be concerned about every day when you wake up. Like beyond my mom, who I consider to be like my love, because she made me. There
Yeah.
is no other person in this world that I have to really be responsible for. Like
Right.
I love my partner, but we're not married yet. So like I'm in a space where like I literally get up and move and exist only for Harley. If you have another person's existence to be responsible for, that's a whole different ball. That's a whole
Yeah.
different ball. And I never
It
take that
is.
when I'm having conversations with y'all. I don't ever be like, well, just get over it. Because it's like, no, every move matters. I can fuck up today and start over tomorrow. Won't nobody be affected.
No fucking problem, yo. I miss
Right.
it.
3 days, 3
I
years.
miss that shit.
Man, you can't do that.
I miss that shit.
Got that wiggle room to fuck up. Like I'm figuring out my
Yeah.
life right now, but y'all don't get that type of time because you
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta figure out life and show another person how to do life, and you learning that shit real time.
For real.
Mhm.
So shout out to
You-
y'all.
For
Like
real.
if you create a person and that
Thank
person
you.
is alive, shout out to y'all.
Mhm.
Hey,
Thank
I appreciate that, and I definitely appreciate that response and answer. And Brian just hit it on the nail. We're gonna move on to our next topic and talking about kids, though. Protecting your children, protecting your child. Are
Fuck
you
Ray.
are some of you, since I know Chanel, Harley, I mean George and Brian, you are parents and stuff like that. You got parents out there that could be, overprotective parents. You got strict parents, and whatever you want to call it, though. Are you guys? How do you feel about protecting, not necessarily protecting your child, but the reason why I came up with this topic is because here in DC a couple of weeks ago, and when I heard about it, I was baffled about it. It was a 4-year-old girl who was in aftercare, and uh I believe the parents maybe had to, they didn't come to pick her up or something to that effect. But the
you.
school had let her go, and she walked all the way home
Listen.
from from the school to her home. And like I said, she was only 4 years old, and it was a whole bunch of concern about that. Like, I wanted to have the video to get everything right, though, but I just know because I know me and Brian talked about it, and me and my fiance talked about it with homeschooling, and or vices of taking your kids to school and stuff like that, or just trusting the world
Somebody
with
else
your
care.
kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Mm.
how do you guys necessarily feel about that, and the topic of protecting your child from the world.
Don't trust the world, but don't have your kids where they're afraid of their own shadow.
Mm.
And really, the best way to protect your children, as a father with 2 sons, one of which is bipolar, is that you have to teach them and give them the tools to able to navigate this world. You cannot protect them. You cannot shield them. When I was growing up, things we had to do to get certain things, it was arduous. But now these kids have phones. They have access to everything. There is no protecting them. The one thing you cannot do is enable them, though. Enable them in bad behavior. Enable them not to go out into the world and live. So protecting your kids is really twofold in terms of giving them the knowledge to navigate this world and making sure you're not enabling them or hindering them as far as getting out there.
Definitely.
Right. And I've always that situation is a messed up situation because, there's no way a 4-year-old should have been released into the wild. Right.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
I used to be a teacher. I don't understand how somebody didn't walk her home. When they stopped letting us put kids in our car, I would drive on the side of my and they told us we couldn't put the kids in the car anymore.
But you would still drive alongside of them while they walk.
Yeah, I would trail them home when I used to be a teacher. Like I was like, no, like I don't understand how you are around kids and don't feel responsible for them.
You don't care. I actually teach kids that after school program, so I deal with this every day. And if you're that negligent, it's because you don't care about the kids.
You don't care at all. At all. Yeah, that's
with
go ahead, Sean. I'm bad.
With regard to like protecting, our job as parents is to raise good human beings, right? To teach them how to leave us, how to live on their own, how to be responsible human beings. And we can't do that by overprotecting them. And your best protection, like Georgie even said, is to educate them. Yeah. I am always teaching my children how to navigate certain things. At 16, I stopped buying clothes and hygiene because guess what? You're old enough to work. Whether you work for mama or whether you work outside the house, then you know how this is how you buy your hygiene. This is how you take care of your clothing and all of your things, right? Mm-hmm. There are certain things I'm teaching them how to be responsible because I don't want them in my house when they're 30. I don't want to take care of them. My youngest is 17. She'll be 18 in like a few weeks, about to graduate. I want her to learn to live on her own. This is how you take care of your car. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Our job is to educate them and teach them how, not to do it for them, and not to shield them from all the things that's going to hurt. I believe in natural consequences. But kill school, so-and-so has missed 4 days of school. I'm like, they said you missed 4 days of school. I'm not punishing from home because you know what? They got to deal with the consequences of that. You're going to graduate or you're not. And if you're not going to graduate, my rules still apply. I don't take care of grown folks. Nope. When you're 18, you graduate, you still got to get a job. You still got to be doing whatever you're doing for your career because I don't require you to go to college. That's your choice. But if you're going to live here, you're going to help pay bills. You're going to have to pay, you're going to have to put in, right? And so if you choose to stay behind in school or you end up failing or whatever the case may be, those are your consequences to deal with, right? That's even with regard to them dealing with their teachers in high school, and I teach them that in middle school too. You try to manage it as much as you can on your own. You be responsible. You talk to them in an appropriate way. You disagree appropriately. If it gets out of hand or your teacher's not hearing you, then I'll step in. So I had a reputation of you don't want Ms. Batiste to have to come to the school because it's going to be hell and damnation because she's already taught her child to advocate for themselves. Mm-hmm. That means you're not listening. You're not hearing my baby when she's talking to you. And I'm like, CC on me on every email, so I can see if you're speaking appropriately or not. So my job is to teach them how to be young ladies out here in the street, and all that. So, and that does not mean I'm telling them what I think is the right thing. I can tell them what I think, but at the end of every conversation, I ain't telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you how to live your life. Right, one of my cousins said about her children once, especially with regarding sex and stuff. She's like, I just woke up one day and I was like, I can't tell them what to do with their vaginas. It's their vagina. Absolutely, it's their vagina, right? Absolutely. But your job is to teach them how to protect it. Now they're gonna choose what they choose. You can't stop that. There's nothing you can stop. But your job as a parent is to teach them the right way and understand they still gonna make mistakes. All of us have mistakes. Right? We all gonna screw up. That's part of life. and teaching them that the screw up is not the end of the story. It's just a bump in the road. You learn what you need to learn. You hop back on. You keep moving forward and don't do that bullshit again.
And the thing about raising kids too is that, you know, I have this conversation with my 19-year-old son all the time. You know, I'll take accountability and say, son, you know, over the years raising you, I wasn't the person I am now, so I did make mistakes. And he's like, I understand where you were, so I understand what you're trying to do. So you have to have the part of protecting your kids is actually talking with them and not at them.
That's right.
And having a dialogue too, so you get to know them, so you know how to address their issues before they become apparent.
Right. Real fast before we go on, can you talk about that though? Because some people may not understand, and understand that part where you just saying, because parents will talk to their kids, but at times we'll just talk at them, and just instead of talking to them.
We have to stop treating our kids like we own them.
Right. We do own them. We own them for sure. No doubt about it.
You created them.
We own them. Our children.
I always tell my mom, the life I have came through you. It's not owed to you.
Disagree on this one right here.
You made me, so I'm gonna honor you for making me.
Appreciate you and honor you for that.
You don't own me.
Yeah, but you wish for that though. I think one of the biggest problems is there's too much freedom, yo. I think there's too much freedom in the world, even with what Dre said.
I don't think that there's too much freedom.
There's not
enough communication. I think
right, let me finish my point real quick. Let me finish my point first. Okay. Here's the fact. We just started this whole conversation by saying there was a 4-year-old girl who was in a daycare service who these motherfuckers just, parents ain't come. There's the door, bitch. Get out. And yo, hats off to my girl for finding her fucking way home like a puppy. She 4? Shit, if that was me, I wouldn't be able to find my way back to my damn house. I didn't know how to do that or whatever when I was younger.
What happened when there's the interference? What happened when there's a predator out there ready to snatch that baby? Because she can't protect herself from that. Right.
So
the person that
I still gotta finish my point. I still gotta finish. You jumping in too fast.
My bad.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. There's too much freedom, yo. It's too much. People just have this sense, whether it's reckless freedom or careless, whatever. I feel like everybody's ready to just live their mentality, live their situation, live their wants and desires to the fullest fucking degree, to the fact you normalize it, no matter what. Like, by saying we don't own our kids, who do? Like, who owns the children? Nobody. Like, that's that. I don't understand that. If you have a business, do you say you own your business? I'm not saying a kid is a business, but to a degree it is. You're in charge of this development of this child in a very important way. They look up to you in a way that they don't look up to anybody else in the fucking world until a certain degree. How you react to them, their traumas, their situations that they have to deal with, everything that's going on with them is your full fucking responsibility, just like your ass was checking in and clocking in at work. So to not take the full on responsibility and ownership that your child is what you have to do and structure in this world to be successful, I think that's negligent. And I'm just being honest, yo.
I think ownership of their success and ownership of them as an entity is different.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Right. And so maybe I'm speaking from ignorance because I don't have children, but I feel like there's a difference between feeling responsible for the outcome of a situation and owning it as property.
You have to own it. If your kid goes and makes a mistake, and he do something, and then especially at a certain age, because you're responsible for your child until they hit adulthood. So if your kid goes and shoots up the school or some shit like that, or some craziness, or even something simpler than that, robs a store, does this, does that, the police come and they bring his ass back to your ass, and they say, "Hey, is this your child?" Yes, that's my. Where he did this shit. Guess what? You got to figure this situation out. I'm just being honest, bro. That's honestly how it is. We can have different mentalities about how it is, but honestly, factually, that is how it is. You own your child, yo.
I think it's the argument. I think maybe ownership is the wrong word. You have an obligation and responsibility to your children up to the age of 18. Right. That does not mean ownership, but it means that you're accountable for that child.
Right.
Ownership gives me a slave sort of connotations. Right. I don't think we need to relate it to our kids. So we don't own the kids, but we are definitely responsible and accountable. Now, once they turn 18, I told my son when he turned 18, son, my time for raising you is over. Now it's just my time to advise and watch you.
Right.
He don't live with me. I said, after 18, you can't live with me no more. You got to get it on your own. If that looks like he got to be on the street, hey, that's part of his journey.
That's hard, Yeah, I
This
don't.
thing, that's just real.
I feel
This
like
is
the
real.
world is so hard, man. I feel like that's one of the
It
reasons
is.
why, especially as black men, man. Like I feel like that kind of mentality to just be able. And I'm a kid who grew up on the fucking street. I've been through a lot of shit. But the fact is, because I've been through that, is the reason why I am the way with my kids. I don't want my kids to feel like they can't come to me and be in situations. Now, I'm a hard ass nigga. I'm saying all this nice shit or whatever, but I've said multiple times in this show, I'm rough. I handle my kids. I talk real to my kids. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
tell them what it is. Like, but it's at the same time, I always feel like I want to do everything in my power to consistently be there for my child because I know a lot of the times the world isn't. And even though it is a developmental process when you are throwing them to the wolves and letting them fucking drown or sink or swim, it's different. It's difficult, man, because you really have to understand that's your baby that was brought into the world at no fucking choice of their own.
How old are you? How old are your kids though?
My kids are 12, going on 13. I got 2 twins that's 13, and then I got a 5-year-old. Plus, I have 3 nieces that I raised as well.
Wait till like they hit about 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Especially the boys, when they hit about 15 or 16, that's when they really become who they are.
Oh, yeah.
That's really when your influence debates. Because they're at that point, they're listening to their friends, they're listening to social media. About 15 to 16, that's kind of almost when your raising is done. Because that's when they really are who they are going to be.
Figuring out who they are, yeah.
Yeah, and like every child is different. Some children you may have to stay home a few extra years, but like my son, his ass had to get out because that's the only way he's going to become a man.
Yeah, everybody's different. I agree with that.
Yeah, like Chanel know how close I am with my boys, but at the same time, you got to go out. You got to get out there. That's otherwise. See, I got to prepare my sons for the day I'm not here.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
If that means I got to kick them in the ass a little bit, then that's just what I got to do. But when you get 18, there's no more me raising you.
Right.
You got to. I hope I've done my job and imparted enough into you at that point where you can survive. If not my fault, but you got to get it on your own, boo boo, because that's the way the real world works.
Right.
You got to. I told my son, you got to make it on your own. There's been times he had to sleep on the street, but that's part of God's journey for him. That ain't my responsibility. Now I'm gonna make sure he don't bump his head.
We all handle shit different. I feel you.
Hey,
We all handle shit different. I'll say that.
Hey,
that's what my son needs. That's what he needs.
Yeah, I can't speak on that.
I just want to say,
I ain't got to do that with. My youngest son is totally different.
Yeah.
But see, I had to recognize these are young men now. They different.
Oh yeah.
And as a father, all you can do is be there and love them and guide them. But that world takes over about 13 to 15. That's what I noticed. I've raised 3 boys.
I want to step in real fast, man. I know this is a great conversation, man. I'm a new dad. I know Brian and a couple other people know that. My little man in the background, probably going wild in the living room right now. But from my perspective though, I know of growing up, and my mom wasn't necessarily or overprotective. She wasn't strict. She was protecting me and wanting the best for me until I got to an age that I can do stuff and handle stuff on my own because I was in a wheelchair and she was kind of like concerned with that, and I was showing her that Mom, I got it. I'm growing up to be a man and stuff like that. And I know as some of us, like Brandon was saying, the world is cruel, and when we most of us as black people have that mentality is like man, boom, when you grown or you reach a certain age, you up and you out of here though. And I think throwing them off to the world like that just it teaches them responsibility, and that they gotta fend and do stuff for themselves. And I hear another conversation is like, how do we don't necessarily have our kids go out and get a job and live in the house and pay all the bills, and grow together, and maybe save that money to do something else, or build a business or something like that. Instead, that some of us go off and get kicked out into this cruel world with no really form of education, because not everyone is perfect. Not every one is who they are. But I think I think it's tough. I understand both parties, both from everybody
Me too.
perspective though. From just you know you gotta go out and get it. Look at you 16, you 17, look at you gotta buy your own clothes, you gotta do. I understand that,
Yeah.
and from a perspective, like I tell my fiance, like, look here, like me personally, my dad wasn't in my life, so I know from my perspective, I know I wanna, be the best that I can do and the best that I can be, as a father to him and just, teaching him, because I
Yeah.
definitely boys though, to be exactly though, at a certain age though, they do start sniffing themselves.
That
Girls too,
rebellious
but
stage is fucking
yeah,
real.
yeah,
With
that's
girls
hey,
too. I ain't going to
yeah,
just don't let's
girls,
not shy
yeah,
away from
girls
this.
too,
All
but
girls.
Yeah.
boys,
I have all
but
girls. They do the
Yeah.
same
but
thing.
but
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 I
Yeah,
girls,
understand
Sounds
the difference
wild.
between a man and
but
a female though too, right?
uh,
Because I used to have that mentality like you got to get the hell out, but I also recognize it's per child. It depends
right,
on the
Yeah.
kid. My older
yeah,
daughter, older biological child, because I have adopted children too, and my oldest biological child, she's what my mama call a brick wall baby. Like she got to learn it herself, So I tried my best to not necessarily coddle, but still be there for her in that capacity. But she got to get out there and figure. She came back to me. This is the third, fourth time she'd have been back in my house, right? And I'm not gonna turn her away unless she continue to do fuck shit. And if her shit affects me, all right, if she don't pay her bills, her
Yeah.
part of the bills, and it cause me to be evicted, we're gonna have a problem, right?
That
And
understand.
I'm
That's
not gonna have
understandable
you live
completely.
here on me because you're grown, right? She's grown and married, and so it just depends on the kid. Now my youngest, she's more of a mama. I want to move and be on my own, but I recognize I still have stuff that I need to learn, right? So I'm gonna stick around as long as I can to impart all this knowledge because I don't want to be like my older sister who's gotten a few evictions and end up back here and because sometimes my older daughter feels trapped, right?
Yeah.
And all that. So I get all that. I had to go back to my mama 150 times, and I raised my mother's children. I was parentified at 8 years old, so I get it. But I wasn't sent out into the world with the not necessary knowledge, but we do have hard times regardless, right? And
Yeah,
we need
regardless, you're gonna have parenting is fucking difficult, man. And
different.
everybody has their own struggles, their own. My son, with my son's the whole reason I'm in Georgia. I've told the story a million times. My son lost his mom to cancer at fucking,
Right.
5 years old. So it's like just like George was saying, it's different struggles, yo. I'm over here. My daughter, we homeschool my daughter. We've been in a process of homeschooling since this year, really. We started. We saw we can do it with COVID. And we're like, fuck it. We're gonna take and give this a try because we feel like the school system is failing these motherfuckers. Like that's simple. They're not teaching them like you said, evictions. You dealing with all this shit that you don't learn in fucking school.
You don't learn
So
none of
we're
that
like, we do planting, we do all that shit. So it's just like, yeah, everybody is completely different, but it is very hard to be a parent, man. There ain't no fucking guidebook on how to do this shit.
And
Yeah.
each child is so individual and different, and you got
For
to
real.
raise each one differently, right?
Yeah.
And so I have 5 adopted daughters that are older than my oldest biological child, and even taking care, they were all different, right?
Yeah.
So each kid got to get their own thing, Some of them gonna need to get it in the mud. Some of them you're gonna be able to nurture them all the way to their 21, 25, right?
Yeah.
Just depends on the kid and their temperament and how they are, and what experiences they've had.
And where you are in your life and what you got going and what you got going too. You might not have time for all this foolishness.
That's right.
I'm trying to run a business. So guess what? I ain't got time to be coddling people. You can work for mama, but trust me, there's no nepotism here. If you work for mama, you're gonna work for mama. I'm not just paying you for nothing.
That's definitely true.
I think Brian just said something though. What is something, I guess, for you guys that you feel like is the number one thing to educate to educate your child, to educate a child or your child to be I don't want to say successful, but sort of successful in life, or just
finance,
Yeah.
money, because we're not educated on credit, we're not educated on finance, we're not educated on our personal credit, and it comes back to bite us because now since 9/11, they looking more so at credit when you get a job now too. Our kids are not told how to do a budget, and that's incumbent upon us as parents to do so. I think we rely too much on the education system that's really inept to do what it's supposed to do. So all this extra stuff, we really have to fortify ourselves as parents and make sure they get things. Like with my sons, I had to take them out in the car and told them, this is what you do when the police pull you over.
Same shit.
I'm raising sons. See, I got to teach them. I got to be a little bit hard on them, but I'm very tender with my kids. Chanel knows this.
Yeah,
but you have to get them to a point where they understand they got to work twice as hard to get half as much as black men.
Listen, bro.
And black women too.
Yeah.
We got to work twice as hard. That's a difference. I got a white best friend. I just say it just to say it. But the way he parents his sons is different from the way I have to.
It has to be
different world.
Yeah, we're completely different.
See, you live in a brown body. If you live in a brown body, your experience is going to be different. So there are certain things. Because my baby girl is a firecracker. Like she is justice bound and forever. Like no, because this ain't right. I was like, there's a time and a place and a voice for that thing. You can't jump up and say that in any situation everywhere. You're gonna get yourself.
That's important. That's an important fucking thing to learn.
So important.
I like
how to navigate that.
I've really been trying to pay attention to, like, I was just talking to my son a minute ago, not just like, the typical, like, day to day or whatever life foundation stuff or whatever, but I'm really trying to focus on teaching my kids the importance of time management. I'm trying to teach them the importance of focusing and paying attention when you're doing something with every fucking discipline, the summary right there. I'm trying to teach them that because, like, I've been very reckless. Like I said, I try to just in comparison. That's all you can really go off of, and fucking, whatever else you got. But I've been very reckless, man. I was always very reckless, but I was always very determined, and I was always very successful at getting done what I wanted to do. And I'm happy about that shit, but I see the flaws in where my kids may be falling, and I see when my kids are washing dishes and they put a fucking dirty dish in. Bro, are you looking at it while you're doing it? Stop fucking thinking about Batman or whatever. And think about it while you focus, because focusing is going to keep you alive longer. It's going to make you pay attention more. It's going to make you more educated. Your surroundings, every fucking thing that you do. Focus is one of the most important things that you have to do. Paying attention while you're doing it, looking around. I say that shit all. Stay true, stay positive, pay attention. It's one of my fucking mantras. And I believe that if you know how to do that, you can be successful at any fucking thing. Give your dedication.
I think that's the difference between when we talked earlier about ownership and responsibility. Because, like, again, the master slave mentality of I own you, you're just going to do what I tell you to do is different than let me teach you the why. Let me teach you why you need to clean this fork, right? Because if it's dirty, like you might poison yourself later, or
I agree.
So that's educating that kid. That's a responsibility level. Yeah, masters are just like, do what I say, I'm gonna beat your ass.
I agree. Fully, I agree.
That's what I was gonna say. I grew up in a household where, like, my mom would talk to us, but also because it was 6 of us and it was just her, my mom was very loose on like responsibility, and she was a helicopter mom, so she wanted to do it all for us. And I found myself becoming internally disciplined to keep her from having to help me, because like so I had to I started to like watch certain things or like read certain things because I wanted to always be a step ahead of the person that was trying to help me. Because my mom, she was always ready with the pillow. And I remember being like 12 and telling her, like, I'm never gonna know what life feel like because you don't ever let me hit my head. And so I ran away from her. Like, I went to college in Mississippi. I ran away from Chicago because I needed to hit my head. I gotta hit a wall. Like, I recognize that in myself early. I'm not the type of person that you can be like, Harley, that's hot. I'm be like, really? Let me go touch it.
Touch it. Yes.
Sound like my son.
What's wrong? My hand is hurting. I don't ever want to feel like this again. But I gotta fall. I gotta hit my head.
That's the best teacher. And I think a lot of times as parents, we see protecting them as keeping them from falling. And sometimes you got to fall in order to know, first of all, that it's okay to fall and get back up, right? And all that. And 2, you have to fall so that you can feel the pain of falling, right? And then you're like,
for real.
I don't want this no more. This ain't cool. I'm not gonna do that shit no more, right?
Yeah, that is something that I struggle with. I do struggle with that shit. I'm trying to, and like I said, I am one of the ones, like, going back to your question, Dre, protection is big with me. My family, I have a family of fucking 5 and plus a dog, and it's like, I got cameras. I've said it multiple times, cameras, guns, everything, all over this fucking house. And I tried, just a fucking sword right back here, like, everywhere, like. I'm big with making sure my family is fucking safe, yo. That's my big thing. I'm a provider and a protector. But at the same time, it's like I do understand my girl. We do live in a husband and wife household, so she holds her abilities to manage them in a certain way, and then I hold mine. So that structure also is a developmental tool.
But both of those are important. I think also we negate the value of the differences in parenting and all that, because you know what? You need to be hard, and you need to. That's your duty as their father, as the man in the house, right?
That's what I was.
You need the nurturing mom as the balance, right? That's that yin and yang, right? That's
Bro,
that.
that's weird. When we were talking about traditional relationships, I'm sorry, Dre. I had to say this because I meant to say that earlier. That's why I was trying to say about like, where do we understand like a common relationship between saying this is traditional and what values are important to make sure that are added to that when you're dealing with a family type unit. Like if you are a family unit, can you say, hey, I can be in polygamy but still feel like I can run my household successfully and raise my children and development? I'm not judging. I'm asking like honestly.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful to be able to have that conversation because like I'm polyamorous and I don't have children, but my partner has 2 children. His children come and go as they need to, and when they are here, I will assume a traditional mother's role. Right there, those are 2 big growing boys. I cook for them. I cook for my man, but I also have a man who loves to cook. So at any given moment, I'll look up and he got the walk out. He's making Chinese rice because that's what he enjoys doing. That's his outlet. So I was just a woman who was blessed to have that situation. But I wake up at 6 a.m. I clean houses. I wash underwear. I fold clothes. And I don't just do my man's laundry. I do his laundry and I fold and iron his clothes. So that's why I tell people like my hypersexuality does not take away from my traditional abilities, but I am by no stretch of the imagination a traditional woman. I am a non-traditional woman with traditional capabilities. Because again, that doesn't happen every day. My kids are here on the weekends and on the holidays. So I'm really a mom. The best time it is to be a mom. I'm a mom Christmas. I'm a mom Thanksgiving. I'm a mom the best time it is to be a mom. All the rest of the year, I'm a stripper and nobody else is.
Make it work. Make it work, Harley. Yeah, the Harley does make it work. To a point that you guys were just saying, just about, especially with boys, though. I feel like, being a parent and with boys, raising young men, you have to be a little certain type of way, and definitely when you do have a 2-parent household and you got the mom and the father, it does balance out everything because the mom is, the nurturer. She's, she coddles the kid and let him know everything gonna be all right, kisses his boo boo, etc. And I think with the dad, definitely, like I said, with raising boys, it's fundamental for them in the long run, growing up as young men, because a lot of boys, like I said, I didn't have, my father in my life growing up, but I had my mom, who was an amazing mom, to raise me. But I think I learned some stuff on my own and through others, because I didn't have that father figure to teach me with certain things. But like I said, with boys, man, you definitely have to, be a certain type of way on them to let them know and teach them respect and, everything along the way. And it's kind of like ties in to my next thing because, if that's that father figure in them young men life, it can definitely help them in relationships down the line, because a lot of some men, and some women too, go into a lot of relationships and have, past problems and have problems because they, didn't deal with that in the past, or wasn't taught, or wasn't educated, So
right about this.
what you guys think about, having, like raising and educating, your kids, and for them to be great adults, even with you guys self, to have effective relationships, not only just physical, sexual, just could be with a coworker or friend or whatever, just having a good relationship with others.
I think one thing that's been valuable in my relationship with my sons is that they say they, and be cognizant of this too. Be willing as a parent to admit when you're wrong to your kid.
Oh gosh, yes.
Because what that teaches them is, one, accountability.
Yep.
That keeps them focused, because they learn to not only watch what you tell them, but what they learn from you. What you teach your kid is not always the same as what they learn from you, because they learn from our mistakes as well.
Ooh.
Very true.
So we have to keep that in mind.
Repeat that again. Yeah, please repeat that again.
What you teach them, not always
what you teach them is not the only thing they learn from you. They also learn from your mistakes, from your
actions and the things you don't say.
I'm trying to get better at that now as well, like understanding, like, because like I said, I'm hard, man. I go in with my kids, like, my girl's the nice one and I'm bad cop a lot of the times, But I still teach them. I still teach,
Right.
like you said before, like you can't leave this dirty because you put it up here, it's gonna make everything blah 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 that. So we do have those conversations, but I do, take a lot of fucking pride in saying, yo, listen, even if I am wrong, still listen to me, because
Right.
if I have a fucking problem and I make the same mistake I can fix it. I can go out and buy something else. I can go out and get a job and work hard to get this. But if you fuck up something, what you gonna do to fix it? I'm literally telling my son that shit.
You gonna get
Millions of times. What the fuck you gonna do? You
Right.
break that PlayStation, I can go buy a new one. What the fuck you gonna do?
What you
Okay, then you gotta listen to my ass for now, because you ain't got it.
That is
Again,
literally
teaching them the level of
how I got
responsibility
my
for the thing.
stepson to start cleaning his room. That is literally how I got my stepson to start cleaning his room. I was like, let me tell you something. I said, if this is
I'm
your
sure they're quoting us and shit.
look, right. I told him, I said, look, this is your space. Don't you feel better when you come in here and it's clean?
Right. Teaching them the benefit of what you're trying to show.
Horrible, because I'm not gonna clean it until you start doing what you have to do to feel better. I said, I wake up every morning at sunrise and clean around you and your dad as y'all sleep. I don't wake up my fiance, I don't wake up my kids, and they sleep until 2. I will clean the house from top to bottom. But I also have conversations with them. My boys wash baseboards once a month.
Yeah.
They don't do that at their mama house, but they do that at Harley's house, because I'm not about to play with you.
Right.
This is your space, and our space is our energy. That's one of the things I talk to my boys all
That's
the time.
right.
Our
That's
space,
right.
that's how we
It's
show
your
up.
energy.
If it's
That's
cluttered in here, if it's dirty in here, if it's not
cluttered up here,
we walk out into the world with bullshit. Do you want
That's
bullshit?
right.
Hey, no, I'm okay. Come on, let's get it then. I think being a part-time parent makes me be able to jump into the conversations that my fiance and the mom have. And I have a great relationship with both his baby moms. Like, they will call me before they call him. They don't got time to talk to me. He's not that smart.
Oh shit, here we go. Harley about to intermingle. Motherfuckers all over the place.
They call me quick. I'm still trying to get that second one. If I get that second one, we're gonna be a big old happy family. I go buy a big house, but she don't want to play. I've been trying his second baby mama. I be like, look, we can all live together. Your son will be in the house with his daddy.
That's true.
Give me that thing.
She like, nah, I ain't doing all that shit.
I think, like, especially as a therapist, when people come in, a lot of our issues come from our first relationships, which is from our parents. That's your first relationship, right? Yeah. And so if that relationship is messed up in any way, shape, or form, you didn't get what you needed from them with regard to being affirmed or the attachment or whatever it is, right? Then that sets the stage for how you relationship from that point on. And it does. It comes across how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And so if me and my mama had issues, and then I did not have a daddy in my house to have a relationship with, then my relationship with men, I don't know how to have one, because the relationship I was supposed to have with the first man was not present. So I walk into the world not knowing what to expect from a man. I got married and I was like, okay, because my mom got divorced when I was like 8. And so, and again, like I said, I was parentified, so I'm taking care of her stuff because she's a single parent. And then she got so depressed and then started using. And then I'm really taking care of everything and everybody, including her and all that. So I entered the world, and of course, I want a man, I want a husband and all that. You know, I discovered my bisexuality. You don't know what to do with that yet, but that's fun, you know, and stuff. But still, I walk into my marriage. All I know is my mama was a yeller and screamer, so I'm a yeller and screamer. I'm talking to my husband crazy because that's the only way I knew to communicate. Now, that's not cool, right? He didn't have what he needed from his family either, because his mother was a disciplinarian, and, you know, and his dad was great, but his mom didn't have that nurturing part. So he's looking for a nurturer and all that. I don't know the difference in what's man shit and what's my husband shit, right? Yeah. So I'm talking to men like, okay, is this a man issue or is this nigga here crazy, right? And sometimes they're like, oh,
yeah, I want to say this too. Like, you know, another thing is, you know, understanding that process there. You're absolutely right. I agree with that. You know, and these conversations, like, if you pay, like, there's a lot of, like, we can recircle and kind of hit on certain topics all back together. But you know, another thing as parents that everybody, hopefully everybody mostly understands is you ain't never going to just perfectly get this shit right. Probably any relationship that you ever have in your fucking life. You ain't never just, oh, well, my mom, dad, they raised me. They had money. They took care of me when I needed it. And they did it when I shouldn't have. And everybody just knew what to do. Get the fuck out of here. That never happens.
Well, I had a client like that, and he was screwed up too.
There you go. So it's like, you know, there's no right or wrong way, man. Yeah, it's everybody does.
You busy. You got a lot of time and emotions, but you don't got resources. You got all the resources, no time and emotions.
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. There is definitely a fucking wrong way. Because the people who sat there and let that baby out and shit like that, whatever, they're not parents, but you had a parental role in that aspect, and you failed fucking miserably. But I think people need to also start understanding that, I think it'll be a lot easier, at least, if people start understanding, like, hey, man, it's not always about, definitely understand that there are differences and challenges and stuff like that, but also start understanding there's going to be problems. One of the things in my relationship with my girl, like, we talk and we get to a point where I know I say this a lot. Hey, babe, listen, I fucked up. I'm getting better at saying I'm sorry and shit. But I also say, hey, babe, I know we fighting. I know this shit probably gonna happen. I want to say it's never gonna happen again, but that's fucking unrealistic. I'm like, we gonna have some shit, but I'm always gonna make sure I try to pay attention from now on and do better. That's what I always say, no more of this unrealistic shit of like, oh, well, we're never going to have problems. And then I got to, it's the trauma of my last problem. And now I'm just floating in that fucking bubble. I'm never going to ever accept the fact that, hey, man, I do good sometimes and I don't others. That's what it is.
And on purpose. Like sometimes I know better and I don't do better because I'm tired of doing better. Sometimes
I tell you, bro.
Sometimes we choose to make the wrong decisions.
Sometimes you like, fuck it, right? You want that sandwich, that fucking burger instead of that salad. Fuck it.
Too, bitch.
I'm trying to tell you, yo.
And you just got to be okay with that. That's the human factor, right? We're gonna be human every day, all day. And I think we should, give our. That's one of my favorite things in therapy. One of my phrases is stop kicking your own ass. Like if you make a mistake on purpose or not, you own up to it. You take accountability and say, okay, now how am I going to move forward from this point?
There you go.
Right?
That's
and you deal with the consequences of that too.
You deal with the consequences of it. Yep. If I eat a pizza and I get fatter, then that's the consequence of that action. And I got to be okay with that.
And I can go work out the next day a little bit harder. Understand what you can do to fix it too.
I think, Brian, that's where my trigger comes from when I hear people say there's too much freedom, because I just feel like there's just too much shame. And I feel like when people say like there's too much freedom, I feel like it comes from this place of like you want people to be ashamed. And sometimes we make decisions and we fuck up and we can't do like everybody just did today on this panel and say, you know what, I fucked up. Let me figure it out. Yeah, we have lived a life where we beat ourselves up so bad for fucking up. Like we don't fuck up. Like everybody don't fuck up.
Everybody fucks up, man. You're right.
We should stop normalizing things. I'm like, no, let's keep normalizing things. Let's keep making things okay, but then say, hey, that was okay because you did it, but these are the wrong aspects of it. Duality.
There you go. I fully agree.
But don't make nobody feel bad about it, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fuck up. I am a born fuck up.
Thank you.
And I'm okay with it because every time I fuck up, I level up.
Right. Exactly.
It's no doubt.
I'm teaching everybody that the fuck up is an opportunity for you to do better the next round. It's a learning opportunity, right? But we don't teach our kids that, and like you talking about, even with the school system. Oh, well, we're gonna grade you on between an A and an F to see how great you are versus how horrible you are based upon this grading system, right? And F equals failure, and failure is horrible. And like that's not how it should be. It should literally.
And that's not just based off academics either. That's also based off your characteristics, your fucking traits that you're doing in school, what you're doing, how you're talking, how you smell. It's personal fucking interference as well. It's not like that's just great. We're not robots. It's still humanity in every fucking form of judgment that we have. So it's character is real, yo.
Girl, and then especially as Black folk, we get into this job that we know we good at, or we know we doing what we need to do, and we got a process syndrome. We like, I don't know if I should be here. Well, that's because the shame that we've been introduced to our entire lives, not just in our households, but through society, right? Yep. Like you don't belong here. No, I belong here with my fist and my big ass afro, and I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna do it better than everybody else up in here. Right,
that's real shit. You're right. Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely fucking right.
Us teaching our children that, and like if we can remove, even religion is based in shame and and ridicule. And I watch church I've watched people parade folks in the front of a church and shame them for their lifestyle or what they're doing or getting pregnant without, without being married. And let's not do that. Let's not do that because
I never agree with that either.
I got sent to conversion camp.
See?
And look, life doesn't life doesn't come with a handbook, a guidebook. Neither does being a parent. You got to live and you got to learn. And I think
That's right.
that's really what it is, though. And as far as beating yourself up on small things or less or otherwise bashing people for stuff that they don't feel comfortable with. And I think
Right.
a lot of people are just not. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but some individuals I don't feel comfortable with themselves or happy with
Right.
themselves or they
A lot of people. Right. A
individuality.
lot of people don't.
Yeah, and the fact that they sort of like bounce that energy from off of them onto others. So I'm not happy. Things are not going my way, and I don't like it. So I don't think you should be happy.
Right.
And
Let me start
I'm
to make
ashamed
enemies
you
about
for
that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me, please. I've been waiting to tell this fucking story, and I haven't done it on any of the 50 shows I've been on the last 2 weeks.
Let's do it.
All right, listen. To what you just said, Dre, exactly what you just said. People like to fucking just make the world kind of feel like how they feel. I was standing in line at one of the self-checkout things in Walmart a couple weeks back. All right, I had a couple things or whatever, and I'm just fucking, it's just chaos everywhere. You got to check your own shit out because they don't work there anymore, apparently.
Right.
But so I'm standing there, and I'm just, in my own world of shit. And so the lady was in front of me. It was an older white lady, and she had a sweater on, a black and white striped sweater, long brown hair. And I saw her at the end of her transaction. Now, the last thing you do on the touch screen or whatever, she had a bag in her hand. She was carrying some shit. And the little survey popped up on the screen. Okay. She didn't have much. She only had a couple things. She pressed 1. It was 1 to 5, like 1 being the lowest. The service sucked. 5 being the highest. This service was great. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I never fucking think about that survey. I grab my receipt, get the fuck out of there. I don't touch that screen. After I get my receipt, I'm out. When I saw her, I looked over and I saw her hit that 1. I immediately judged her whole fucking life, yo. I thought I didn't care about her experience. I didn't care what happened to her in that store. Somebody could have fucking robbed her, stole her kids, everything on the planet. That was the worst experience she ever had at any store in her life. So she was honest about her opinion and said, this was horrible. I'm pressing 1. No, I thought immediately, look at this nasty asshole over here just being nasty because it's an option on a fucking screen. How was mine? I'm going to tell you. Even though it really wasn't, but it's an option to be mean. I'm gonna choose that, and she hit that 1, and I took it like that. I was no fucking reason for me to take it like that. I was like, you don't got that much shit. What the fuck? How bad was your experience? You had to press 1. What the fuck? That's how I'm thinking. Every single time I go to Walmart now and the fucking thing or whatever, I always press that I had a great experience on 5 every fucking time, just because of that. Just because I thought she was just putting that negative shit. I was like, what the fuck they do? You just got a bad day, so you gonna make everybody pay for it? Nah, fuck you, yo. Every fucking time I make an effort and I press that 5, yo. I don't know what it says about my character, but on some real shit. That's a story I've been wanting to tell on a show for a minute.
You know what? I think that's the balance of the universe, right? Because you don't know what her experience was like or not. But on the other end, we don't know what happens on the other end of the survey. Right. Yeah. Because when I have an opportunity to do a survey, especially if I got great service, I tell every customer service agent, whether they're harassing me for money or whether they're just helping me with my cable and all that, I make sure I am super kind and super awesome. And I'm super when they call in and bill collectors expect people to cuss them out and all. I'm the most pleasant experience on purpose. Because 1, they just doing their job. Second, this got to be an agitating ass job to be calling people that cussing you out all the time. What small thing can I do to make your day better, right?
Real shit,
and all that, and you can get a customer service agent to do whatever the fuck is in their power when you make that day better, right? And it just don't cost. It don't cost. India already says it doesn't cost a thing to smile. It don't. You don't have to pay to laugh. Things that we can do to make somebody else's day better, right?
A little better, yeah.
and like, I'm just gonna make everybody life miserable because mine is. It's natural for
tell you,
us.
bro.
That's literally how I live my life. I ask myself every morning, how can I make somebody happier? Like if I walk past, like for instance, if I had to walk past you with your hair like that, I would have stopped in my tracks in my day. Like you are so beautiful. I love this. I feel like it is important to sing people's praises. I think we've gotten to a space where we're so desensitized that we don't want to clap for a fish that's swimming as if there are not fish that are drowning. I'm going to clap.
Yes.
There are people who are not swimming. So if you wake up every day,
Where's the metaphor at? Where's it at?
You adult life, I'm gonna clap for you because you could lay down every day and do nothing.
Nothing. That's right. That's
if
right.
you wake up every day and you do something, I'm gonna clap for you.
Then I'll clap for you.
I'm gonna tell you I'm proud of you just for being alive. If you follow me on social media every Friday, I show up, I wear my big ass hat, and I tell everybody that follow me, I'm proud of you. I don't know why I'm proud of you. Tell me why if you want me to, and I'm gonna celebrate the fuck out of you.
I love that shit. Yo. I love that shit.
I definitely
love
do.
that shit.
There's so much value in that. There's so much value. At the end of every session, I'm like, I'm proud of you. You don't know how people light up because somebody said I'm proud, and I don't care how much baby steps of progress. And so
I talked about that many a times and how far the words "I'm proud of you" can go, especially when it's someone very close to you, or even someone you don't even know. You be like, "Well, damn, I don't know this person, but she proud of me though." All right, well, I can definitely keep that going. So I dig that, you guys, man. This has been an amazing show. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Last topic though, real fast though. I don't know if you guys heard about it. It may be a little weird, but the situation happened last month, earlier in the beginning of January, in Miami. I don't know if you guys heard about the situation in the Miami Mall, and I wanted to go around to go around and chat about it real fast and get people thoughts on it though. I'm gonna go in a bit, but if anybody heard about it.
You playing a video? Oh no, listen, I heard. I know what you're talking about the alien shit, right?
Yeah.
This is my stake on it, bro. This is how I gotta be. Listen, I don't know how anybody can dispute the shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what they are. I don't think the conversation can be are aliens real? I mean, who the fuck knows? Something's real. Whatever you want to call it, whatever is a fucking form, something's out there. We're getting way more footage and videos and people accepting it and understanding and saying what it is, what it isn't, whatever. There's a lot more to shit that's apparent. But the Miami incident, there was a lot of evidence of something happening with no evidence of nothing happening. I don't think it's because the government shut it all down. Get the fuck out of here. No, nobody got that.
So what did you think then? No, 80 cops pull up, and all these stories and all these accusations that man, we was in the mall and bam, something happened, or it was reported that these little kids were supposed to have been fighting. But you got 80 police cars just lined the fuck up like it's something really going on. And
you want to know, Dre, let me be real with you. You want to know what I think? This is what I think. I think that the story is, if you ever heard the story, apparently there was a group of kids and they put down a device or something like that in a busy fucking mall, and they put down a device, and the device did something like it lit up and it opened. People are saying it was a portal, and we saw a leg come out. It was a black leg, and then that story went from there was 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot aliens walking down the street and shit, and you got these goofy pictures of fucking nothing. But look, see that right there, that shadow. No, it's fucking not. It's whatever's there. And literally, people debunking the pictures and this and that. This is what I think, Dre. The closest thing, if I had to use my educatedness or whatever, I think that there may be a group of kids who were in the mall. I don't think there was a fight. They might have had some shit. They might have had some goofy shit, maybe some Star Trek nerdy kids, whatever. And they had some kind of device or whatever that they were fucking playing with, and they put that shit down, and somebody thought that shit was a bomb or some crazy shit and wreak havoc, million fucking cops. That explains it in a very understandable light, in my opinion. I don't think it was fucking aliens, but I do think that there's a lot going on right now.
So I believe in everything. So I believe in everything and nothing. So I'm not gonna say what them people saw or didn't see, but what I will say is I cannot believe that I live on. First of all, I don't even believe that I live on a planet that grows its own fruit and I have to work. I'm gonna start there.
Bro.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know, right?
I know you have like a man,
Apples.
but I
Hey,
need you to
that was
know
the
real
funniest
quick.
shit he
That
said.
shit
I
was
can't
funny,
believe
bro.
that I'm this dynamic and I'm the only life form that exists.
Form that, yeah, I don't believe that I'm the only
I
life
don't
form.
believe
Not
that
my
at
fault.
all.
I call myself a
Mm.
mermaid. I believe that other things exist. I believe in sirens. I believe in mythical creatures. But
Me
that's
too.
just because I've never stopped reading and I've never stopped tapping into my inner child my
That's
whole
right.
life. I think there's also a part of me that does that because I don't have another person to be responsible for, right? So I don't have kids. So me and my inner child have been best friends most of my life. I spent a
Well,
lot of
even with
time.
kids, you should
A
teach
lot
your
of
kids
time
to believe in all the things.
Yes,
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time understanding her. So when I hear these things in the news, I don't feel very adult about it. Like I feel like SpongeBob. Like I'm a grown ass kid.
I like that.
I sit before you with iridescent kitty
And
ears.
I love them. I love them.
So it's like I feel like I believe that those people saw something, but in this day and age where you can create a robot that looks like an alien,
I'm
it
saying
Right.
will definitely have
That's
just
right.
been
Yeah.
destroyed.
could be any fucking thing. Yeah, yeah, it really
Anything.
could.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact is that
If
nobody
they are out
knows.
there, they need to come abduct me because it is ghetto here.
Yo,
They
but that's the thing. Do you think that with all of this new information about like the alien and stuff like that, I'm starting to get to a different kind of theory than I ever have. First of all, I don't think that everything is outer space, man. I don't think that it's all no, not interdimensional. I do think it's interdimensional,
interdimensional,
but
yes.
I
Not
don't
necessarily
think that. Yeah, I don't think that everything's coming from light years away. I think there's a lot of shit in our ocean. I think that's something that's being
The water.
discovered more than anything is the shit that's in our ocean. I also think we have a relationship with alien beings that we know well, and I'll say squids and octopuses and different shit like that we just take for granted. Like, yeah,
Yep.
that's
I
a
think
squid,
so
that's an
too.
octopus. I think that shit like that are alien life forms that we just have an understanding of. If we had an understanding of these big tile motherfuckers and we saw them every day, we wouldn't think weird about it. It would be regular and
right.
common like
That's
other
right.
shit.
Right.
So
Mm.
I
You're
don't know.
afraid of what you don't understand.
That's it. And you also, your mind does make up shit to match
Absolutely.
your imagination, to fill in the blanks after you get the gaps, because you don't have a memory that's fucking photogenic most of the time. You got some, especially when some crazy shit happens. Oh shit, you saw that? Oh, it was a fucking man. He jumped out of the circle and he was dancing.
And it depends on what you
So
mentally
beatboxing
consume.
and
What are you putting in
See,
your mind?
well,
Like, what do you mentally consume? Are you reading certain books? Are you watching certain shows?
For real.
That
yeah.
will also affect how you see the world. Like
how
I
you see the
realized
world.
Mhm.
when I
Yeah.
started consuming different, when I started doing like documentaries and like reading nonfiction, my life became different. And so now for every nonfiction, like heavy read or watch that I do, I have to do a fiction like
to balance.
To like balance it out, and I figured out my balance. Like I'm like 2 documentaries that make my heart hurt. Now I gotta watch a musical. Like I know where I'm
For real.
I just want to. I want to say one last thing to that, because it just threw me off that 80 police cars, and everyone sort of had this story that they saw something or whatever. Now I believe that there's something out there, and there's a lot of things out there that we just that we've been lied to for so long, and we
For
just
real.
really don't know what it is, and it's under our nose or whatever. Like, but I just feel like this situation that went down, and if everyone saw what they saw, where's the video? In this day and age where
Like, bro,
everyone
everybody's
pulls out
recording
a
everything.
phone,
a
if a
million
fight
cameras, not
if a
one
fight
fucking video.
One
even the
video
cameras in the mall, if a fight
in the
break out,
mall.
right?
That
Even,
too.
cameras in the mall. Like, where's the
So
cameras in the
nobody
mall?
know nothing.
But nobody know nothing. But like if you were just standing around with a group of friends or whatever, and a fight broke out, somebody's gonna pull out their phone and be like, damn, like, come
Right.
on, look at this fight, dog. And nobody pull out their phone and
That
ain't
makes
nothing
sense.
though. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. But all I'm gonna say, I think it is some weird extra beings or whatever, however you wanna call them.
Definitely.
They exist, but we just don't know, and
Yeah.
I think it's organized, like that for we just don't know, but some crazy
I'm
shit.
just saying, if you're out there, me and my homie over here, we are welcoming you to come and talk to us because we friendly. You know
I
what I'm
want to
saying?
talk. Like I love talking to life forms. I went on a safari and the zebra put his head inside of our what's name, and I like snuggled it. And my family was like, Harley, let that thing go. And I'm just like all in the wild. And they're like, oh my God, can you stop? But
you were just connecting.
Yeah,
Hit
like
or miss with that situation. It's the wrong fucking zebra.
It felt
Oh
trustworthy.
man.
That's why he stuck his head in the door.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he
Bro,
wanted to snuggle. He felt the love. And that's the thing. Like,
that's
they
it.
don't, animals will feel it and they will stay the hell away from you. But if they get up close to me, baby, I'm going to love on it because
I'm
you
gonna
have
love on
to.
him.
That's one thing that I do envy about parents. You guys come into connection with innocence at least once a week.
At least, yeah.
As an adult, it's so heavy. You get all of this adult energy, but if you got a kid and you just hold your kid once a week or every day,
Yeah.
that innocence rebalances your energy. My
And
mother-in-law,
I think parents need to
I
recognize
agree
that. I
with
don't
that.
think they always
she
recognize
has
it.
dogs.
Mhm.
Every day after work, I go downstairs and I hug her Rottweilers because if you don't come in contact with innocence, that's how you become a bitter adult because all you're doing is bouncing off of other people's trauma. I feel your
Mhm.
energy, I feel their energy. I'm at work, I'm tired. If you don't hug your kid or hug your animal at the end of a day, man, you're gonna break down.
Yeah. You got to get that good energy. You're right. Because my dog,
Real.
none of these dogs in here belong to me, but every last one I'm like hanging out in my room. And so I just let them chill. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. I dig it. I definitely dig it. I love the conversation. George had to bounce. Thank you, George, for definitely coming on this episode of Beyond 1130, man. I want to thank everyone from Chanel, my girl Holly, and even my guy Brian B for coming through here here on the
Anytime. I
1130
like this.
podcast,
Yeah,
Beyond
this is great.
1130.
Shout out to Dre for the great topic. Dre, you be having some good topics
Yeah,
on
bro,
here, bro,
you
for
tell
real.
Thank
me.
you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. I,
Yeah.
I, I try. Look here, when I be going through some topics, I be like, man, I don't think this good. But then I
It's
appreciate it. I
good. It's
definitely,
good.
Chanel, you welcome back. Next week or so I appreciate it. Appreciate it once again. Before we leave and wrap it up, any final thoughts? Anything you guys want to say before we roll?
Dre, the answer is always yes. You don't have to ask me. Just drop the link. The answer is
Okay.
always
Yeah, I'm here.
that you message me and be like, Harley, how you feel? Boy, yes, of course.
Yeah, Dre, we established that we doing this. I'm on board this week. I'm coming back with my entertainment show later. So yeah, I'm definitely down for the grown folks talking every Thursday. I'm here.
Thank
I
you,
enjoy it.
you guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Brian,
guys.
for having me
On getting my podcast going,
Yes, ma'am.
FTPS as well. And I'm going to do the same type of thing. I do my mental health segment on Speak On It podcast every week, not every week, every month and all that. So like I'm getting used to this space and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love having these conversations with my peeps. And like you said, Brian, earlier, like opening your mind to other conversations and different people. And I think that's what this is all made of, right? I think that's
for
what
real.
podcast is really made of. It ain't for arguing. It's not for proving your point or whatever. It's to really commune and understand and, get connected to different mindsets and likeness and, all those things like that. I think that's just what we're made of. That's part of that connection. And I love
Yeah, it's very important. Like, I know a lot, sometimes, like, just for me, even I know sometimes I can try to come off confrontational, but the thing is, I really enjoy making sure that I speak honestly because otherwise, if you get a room full of people who are just fucking completely positive and just
and
understanding
agreeing with
everything,
each other about everything.
no
Like different experiences. That don't make sense.
yeah, like the story gonna be short as shit. Huh?
Are you from the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm from Jersey originally.
I
I'm in Atlanta now.
People from like New York and Jersey, I love talking to y'all because I'm from Chicago. And even though we yell at each other the whole time we talk, we understand each other so much.
That's it. Yeah.
I had to ask.
It's real.
I'm like, he's Jersey or New York. I know it because we go. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. But we got each other. But we know.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For real. You gotta be real with each other, man. And this fake bullshit, bro. Ain't nobody trying to play with each. We trying to be real. Because how the fuck else I'm gonna grow or learn myself? Like if I don't even speak some true shit.
Exactly. No bullshit is my middle name, y'all. Come on,
That's
man.
right.
I heard that. My crafting company opens tomorrow, guys. It is the name of my company is Ganelle's Crafts. My mom and I are actually business partners, and it is named after my dear sister. And we just want to give love to as many people in our time of grief. We lost my sister 2 years ago. My sister battled alcoholism until she was just tired of this world. And so my angel, she resides on my back, on my shoulder now, but she is no longer here with us. And so my mom and I create by hand things that give people warmth and love throughout the years. And it helps us. Me and her.
What's the name again?
Ganelle's Crafts. My sister's name is Ganelle, and I'll put it into the chat. But we open tomorrow for business. Get you something handmade. I do all types of apparel, but my focus is resort wear. And my mother, she makes little stuffed animals as well as large, beautiful blankets.
Okay.
Awesome.
You can't have enough blankets, baby. You can't have enough blankets.
Yeah.
You can't have enough blankets. I'm down for that. Yeah, put that in there so we can spread the love, and I can spread that on my stuff too.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Hey, Brian.
Oh man, Dre, you know what it is, man. Yo, we had a
Yeah.
really great week, man, on commission talks, and of course, right afterwards we had straight through the roast wrestle talk. Wrestling has been wrestling for sure this week and this month, really. Well, last month. But I've really been enjoying these conversations, man. The Beeline is definitely I've been on a lot of shows recently, and I've been enjoying all of them. We're still doing Tuesday. I had a great show with the Blurred community. If you guys know about the Blurred's Eye View and Navy Montel, really great guy. A lot of good conversation. We are going to be back with the Last Laugh Challenge. I'm thinking about actually having one this Sunday. I would love to have. I need some new people. So if y'all guys want to get on and try not to laugh, yeah, we're gonna jump back into it. Last one wasn't too successful. Yo, listen, it's fun. It's fun as shit, right, Dre? It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's fun.
But I'm coming. So yes,
Yeah.
drop me the link because I'm
gonna
coming.
drop it Sunday night at 9 p.m. Yeah, we either do live on the line where we have group kind of discussions like Dre here, or we do the Last Lap Challenge. I might do a Last Lap Challenge this Sunday.
Okay.
But
y'all send that stuff to me too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And all that. And everybody follow Shoes and Empowerment.
Definitely follow everyone here. I will put the links below right after the live ends. Once again, thank everyone from Brian, Harley, and Chanel, as well as George as well also for coming through here on Beyond 1130. I'll be back next week, episode 4 of Beyond 1130, Thursday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A new episode of Talk Pro Wrestling this Saturday, not tomorrow, but this Saturday. And other than that, man, for real, this has been great. This has been exciting, man. I thank you guys once again for being here on the show. This was great. Until next time, I'll see you guys next week. For myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, Brian B, Harley, George, and also Chanel. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We out, man.
We out. Right. Peace out, y'all.
See you.